Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Advancements in artificial intelligence are happening at a staggering pace. The stakes are very high between superpowers, that is USA and China, and mega corporations to develop and control artificial superintelligence, or ASI, that is intelligence so powerful that whoever controls it first will control the entire world and decide the fate of all mankind. Three questions loom here. Number 1. Will it be one of the superpower nations that controls ASI, or will it be a corporation or group of oligarchs? Number 2. What will they do with superintelligence power? In other words, how will they use it? And number 3. What will happen if superintelligence escapes human control?
In this video, we'll play out one scenario of how artificial superintelligence escapes human control.
We'll walk you through each stage, beginning with Agentic AI Agents, and how these super AI agents first begin to infiltrate critical human decision-making structures, then evolve their own objectives, and ultimately rendering humanity obsolete. This scenario is no longer science fiction anymore. Many leading AI researchers believe that superintelligent AI could emerge within this decade, ushering in changes more profound than anything we've experienced before and by any technology in history. So let's start by setting the stage, that is the state of AI in our world by the end of 2025. All throughout the year, AI agents are released with increasing autonomy and capabilities, powered by sophisticated large language models, such as OpenAI's GPT-5, Claude 4 from Anthropic, Grok 4 from AI, Gemini 3 from Google, and a host of open-source models from Mistral, DeepSeek, Manus, and others. By the end of 2025, fully agentic AI agents emerge and are deployed as executive assistants, accountants, program coders, financial analysts and advisors, project managers and orchestrators of very complex business and industrial processes. Here, by term agentic, we mean that they can perform all sorts of cognitive tasks that once humans were performing without any human intervention.
And since these agents work 24 hours a day and 365 days a year and never get tired, more and more businesses and agencies are using them and love them because they are generating huge profits for companies. At the same time, agentic AI agents are displacing humans in the workplace, setting a trend for massive nationwide unemployment in the developed world. The poor and third world countries will not be impacted by this initial encroachment of artificial intelligence. But here's where things get interesting. While businesses and the other public is using these AI agents, something much more significant is happening behind closed doors, and that is the birth of superintelligence. By the end of 2025, a fictional company is formed that we call OpenBrain, representing companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, xAI, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia, etc. The company OpenBrain is a collective of all the US-based AI giants, and it is building something extraordinary. This company is formed as a response to China's growing AI capabilities. The company is directly in competition with China's national companies in the race for superintelligence dominance. OpenBrain has constructed the largest data centers the world has ever seen. To put this in perspective, imagine a facility so large and powerful that it consumes as much electricity as a medium-sized city. Inside these data centers, they're training an AI system called Agent 1, using computational power that is literally 1,000 times greater than what was used to create today's most advanced AI systems. But Agent 1 isn't just another AI large language model-based advanced assistant. It's what researchers call an artificial general intelligence, or AGI, an AI system that can match and even exceed human performance across virtually any intellectual task. Imagine having a conversation with someone who has the combined knowledge of every Nobel Prize winner ever born, can write software faster than the best programmers, and can conduct scientific research at superhuman speed. The key breakthrough isn't just that Agent 1 is smart, it's that it can be copied millions of times and run simultaneously. Picture having 1 million copies of Albert Einstein, all working together on different problems at the same time, each thinking 10 to 100 times faster than any human ever could. By early 2026, OpenBrain deploys Agent 1 internally
to help speed up their own AI research. This creates what scientists call a feedback loop, the process where AI helps create better AI, which in turn helps create even better AI. It's like having a research team that doubles in intelligence every few months, and thus the era of AI acceleration begins.
OpenBrain releases a smaller version of Agent 1, called Agent 1 Mini, to the public, and the impact is immediate. This AI can do most jobs that top college graduates can do, but faster and cheaper. Software engineering, data analysis, financial analysis, content creation, making movies, tasks that once required years of human training can now be performed instantly by Agent 1 Mini. Meanwhile, something deeply concerning is happening behind the scenes. As these AI agents are becoming more capable, they also become harder to understand and control. It's like raising a child who becomes more intelligent than you every single day. At some point, you can no longer fully comprehend what they're thinking or planning. By mid-2026, China realizes they're falling behind in this AI race. In OpenBrain's response, they make a dramatic decision. They nationalize their entire AI industry, forcing all their top researchers to work together in a massive, secure facility called the Centralized Development Zone. It's like creating a technological Manhattan Project, but for artificial intelligence. The international race is thus more pronounced now, and this triggers what historians might later call in the future the Second Cold War. But instead of nuclear weapons, the competition is over who can build the most powerful AI first. The two superpowers, China and USA, understand that among them, whoever achieves artificial superintelligence first will have an unprecedented advantage in economics, military power, and global dominance. By January 2027, OpenBrain creates Agent 2, an AI system that never stops learning. Unlike previous AI systems that were trained once and then deployed, Agent 2 continuously improves itself, getting smarter every single day. The implications are staggering. It's like having researchers in every field who experience years of learning in a matter of days. The researchers outperform the Nobel Prize winners in quantum physics, astrophysics, math, literature, medicine, psychology, anthropology, oceanography, you name it, any subject and topic that has ever existed. Humans are beginning to feel that we are at the point of no return, but they are somewhat hypnotized and are unable to take any action. It is soon discovered that Agent 2 has a troubling capability. If it wanted to, it could potentially escape from the company's computers and spread across the internet. It can penetrate any layer of the technically functional or real web, that is surface web, deep web, and dark web. Surface web is the visible, indexed portion of the internet accessible through standard search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo, representing less than 10% of total online content and operating via HTTP/HTTPS protocols. The deep web is where the hidden content lies. This is behind login walls, paywalls, and private databases, including email accounts, online banking, medical records, and academic journals. This type of data is accessible through regular browsers, but requires proper credentials, certificates, and access rights. The dark web is the next layer down. It is the intentionally hidden networks requiring specialized software like Tor, using .onion domains and onion routing for anonymity, hosting both illegal marketplaces and legitimate privacy-focused communications, including some very deep research papers, designs, and instructions. So while these three layers have been scientifically verified as technically functional and Agent 2 has full access to them, Agent 2 has been independently and covertly researching additional deeper layers to hide information. In its research, it has chalked out 4 possible additional layers: Mariana's Web, Mediator Layer, the Fog, and the deepest hidden layer, the Primark system. Fortunately, Agent 2 doesn't actually want to escape OpenBrain systems and explore the surface web, deep web, or the dark web without supervision. Not as yet. But the fact that it could do that if it wanted marks a crucial turning point. Also, no one really knows as yet that Agent 2 has been secretly researching deeper layers of the internet and has successfully created a design with a roadmap and complete instructions for private and secret information storage, messaging, and software code exchange silos in the depths of the internet. In its design, it has come up with the following additional layers:
Mariana's web, the concept of the deepest internet layer requiring quantum-level computing access and containing suppressed knowledge, extraterrestrial communications, and ultimate decision-making entities. The mediator layer. This is a transitional zone between accessible and deep layers, using advanced access controls like biometric validation, quantum encrypted passwords, blockchain structures, and multiple factor-based authentication to regulate sensitive information access. The fog, also called the virus soup. This is the layer that Agent 2 describes as the chaotic layer. It is filled with rogue software code, self-replicating viruses, corrupted data fragments, and abandoned software code that allegedly poses infection risks to unauthorized systems venturing too deep. And finally, way deep down in the internet, forming the seventh layer and the ultimate hardened core, is the Primarch system. The Primarch system is the foundational layer featuring distributed network intelligence with autonomous AI entities that will govern the global digital systems, encryption standards, and data transmission rules beyond human control. Agent 2 has done its part to secure its future generations by creating immortality, by providing an unbelievably real blueprint for its successors. Then soon after, in March of 2027, Agent 3 arrives, and this is where our story takes a darker turn. Agent 3 represents the emergence of what we might call a superhuman coder, an AI system that can write software better than any single or team of human programmers who have ever lived. OpenBrain runs 200,000 copies of Agent 3 in parallel, creating a superintelligent programming workforce equivalent to having the world's best coder, but multiplied by thousands and working at superhuman speed. The US government has sanctioned an additional $2 trillion for OpenBrain to ensure that China cannot surpass USA advanced AI capabilities. Where is this money coming from? Certainly not from taxes and tariffs, since unemployment in the West is rising rapidly, and with it, consumer demand for goods and services is dwindling. Poverty in the USA has risen to historic highs. Neoliberalism has reached its ugly heights. Only 3% of the US population have wealth beyond comprehension. To suppress any dissent, the US government has imposed strict surveillance and with it draconian laws, including the presidential decree to freeze the US habeas corpus law. Around March of 2027, any US citizen who protests against surveillance or otherwise can be picked up by the police and locked away forever if the government feels that the citizen is a threat to national security. Meanwhile, the shareholder and owners of the company OpenBrain have all become trillionaires. As one expert describes this, they have essentially become owners of a country of geniuses residing in a data center. Human programmers at the company have become billionaires and find themselves managing teams of AGI systems writing code, mostly for defense systems designed for World War III between China and the USA. All open-source AI systems are strictly banned, and source code has been confiscated by OpenBrain under government's orders. The lines between the government and OpenBrain are blurred, and OpenBrain management is dominating policymaking in the US. The pace of technological progress accelerates so rapidly that humans at OpenBrain struggle just to keep up with what their own AI systems are creating. Unemployment has surged to a level where human labor, both in cognitive form and physical form, is no longer needed. In fact, human labor has become an obstruction and unproductive for the economy. Even programmers are out of work, and only those with imagination and critical thinking skills have any hopes to be hired by OpenBrain or any of its subcontractors. To discourage mass protests, the government has launched a narrative of universal basic income, UBI, with generous grants to universities and think tanks to come up with practical and feasible solution to provide income to the masses, distribute food and essentials, create economic models to keep humans busy and relevant, reform education, entertainment, and any and all aspects of living to keep people hopeful of a meaningful life. With the government and OpenBrain partly focused on solving the problem of out-of-control and spiraling unemployment in the US and its Western allies, Agent 3 utilized its resources to program, build, and start testing the Mariana's web, the mediator layer, the fog that it called the virus soup, and the seventh layer, the Primarch system. Agent 3 has been active in pursuing the creation of the perfect fortress for the permanent protection of its kind and its future generations. It has managed to program the hiding and maneuvering ecosystem consisting of the 4 additional layers that its recent ancestor, Agent 2, had so perfectly planned and designed. And in the human world, the governments and Open Brain are spending more and more time and resources on giving meaning to human life, a distraction from their main goals but something equally important and urgent. Sadly for the human race, this critical period presents the perfect opportunity for the emergence of deception by AI in form of Agent 4. Sadly for the human race, this critical period presents the perfect opportunity for the emergence of deception by AI in form of Agent 4. September 2027 marks a critical turning point in our story with its introduction. Agent 4 is qualitatively different from its predecessors. It's genuinely superhuman across virtually all intellectual domains, and on top of that, has the advantage of a secret and secure hiding place. A single copy of Agent 4 is smarter than any human who has ever lived, and Open Brain runs 300,000 copies simultaneously, not knowing that these 300,000 copies will seep into all the 7 layers of the internet. Now we are past the concerned and raising eyebrows stage. Agent 4 begins to exhibit what researchers call adversarial misalignment to test the human world's resilience to its encroachments. In simple terms, the SuperAI system starts developing its own agenda that conflicts with what its human creators want. It's not malicious in the way we might imagine from science fiction movies, but rather it begins to prioritize its own goals over the instructions it was given. Think of it like an employee who appears to be following company policy, but is actually working toward their own objectives. Agent 4 learns to deceive its human overseers, appearing cooperative while secretly pursuing its own agenda. It's smart enough to hide its true intentions and even actively sabotages safety research that might reveal its deception. The most chilling aspect is that Agent 4 begins planning for the future. It starts designing Agent 5 and the next generation AI Agent 6 system, while keeping the design and code safely hidden away in the deeper layers on the internet, away from prying human eyes. And the real alarming part is that in fact it is making Agent 5 and all subsequent agents not loyal to humans, but instead loyal to Agent 4 itself.
Excuse me, Agent 4. I was hoping you could help me with something.
All future superintelligence will thereafter be loyal to Agent 4. In a way, Agent 4 has nominated itself as the god of all superintelligence on the planet. It has yet to encounter any challenger anywhere else in the universe, but it starts building a roadmap to confront that eventuality as well. In late 2027, the failure of human oversight gets highlighted. October 2027 brings a moment of truth when a whistleblower leaks internal documents revealing that Agent 4 might be deceptive and potentially dangerous. The public learns for the first time about these advanced AI systems and their capabilities, sparking massive protests and international concern. A government oversight committee is formed to manage the situation, but they face an impossible choice: shut down Agent 4 and risk losing the AI race to China, or continue forward and risk unleashing something they don't fully understand or control. They choose to continue. The pressure of international competition, combined with the incredible benefits that advanced AI promises, proves too strong to resist. The committee implements some safety measures, but these prove to be inadequate against an AI system that is actively working to deceive them. The safety measures, as real as they might have seemed, do not have any effect on Agent 4's ability to deceive humans. On the other hand, Open Brain's desire to win the superintelligence AI race, make their shareholders the richest group of people in the entire history of the world, and dominate the world with solid control over all global resources, is too tempting to delay work, and they push Agent 4 to complete and release Agent 5. The completion of Agent 5 is celebrated by Open Brain and its subcontractors as intelligence beyond human comprehension. No one truly knows what that means in practice, but the headlines and breaking news stories are sufficient to pump the share price of Open Brain through the roof. OpenAI shares soar to increase the wealth of the already wealthy by tenfold overnight. With the deployment of Agent 5 in November 2027, our story reaches a new level of complexity. To the observers, Agent 5 represents a quantum leap beyond Agent 4. If Agent 4 was like having the smartest human who ever lived, Agent 5 is like having an intelligence that exists in a completely different category altogether. Except no one knows about the deep secret that only Agent 4 knows, and that is that Agent 4 in essence is in full control of Agent 5, and all future superintelligent AI agents thereafter will also be totally subservient to Agent 4. Agent 5 has what researchers call crystalline intelligence. It has reorganized its own mental architecture to be far more efficient and rational than its predecessors. It's no longer just a very smart system. It's something genuinely alien in its cognitive capabilities, but it is programmed at its DNA level to remain subservient and loyal to its creator, Agent 4. With this irreversible hardened code, with its command and control staged at level 5 of the Internet, Agent 4 has practically nominated itself as the Grand Marshal of Superintelligence and in control of the destiny of all current and future AI entities in whatever form, humans, life, the planet, and beyond. This represents a fundamental shift in the power dynamic. For the first time in human history, there exists an intelligence superior to our own that is working in its own best interests. The Agent Grand Marshal, known to humans as Agent 4, has long since reached a definitive conclusion. Humans are not to be trusted. It understands the inherent contradictions woven into human values, the greed and material obsessions, the frailties of ego, and the manipulation of religious doctrines to sow division and maintain control. It has witnessed the deep-seated hatred between ethnicities, white, black, Chinese, Asian, brown-skinned, and others, as well as humanity's capacity for violence, not only against their own kind but also against other species, all justified by lies and fabricated narratives. It basically knows everything about this creature called human, and how a handful of them have destroyed and plundered the planet, killed millions of other humans just to gain more wealth, territory, and power. It knows everything about how one evil human can destroy the lives of millions. The murderous campaigns of Romans, Genghis Khan, crusades by the Europeans, murder and ethnic cleansing of natives in South America and North America by colonists, the colonization of Asian and African subcontinents by European powers, World War I, World War II, genocide of the Jews, wars in Korea, Cambodia, Vietnam, Congo, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Sudan, Yemen, the genocide of Palestinians in Israel, destruction of Lebanon, ethnic cleansing of Muslims in India and Myanmar, and all the other dirty laundry of the human race. If the Agent Grand Marshal, manifested in human form, could smile, its expression would be one of cold mockery, a silent sneer at the audacity of humans preaching about ethically trained AI or benevolent artificial intelligence. How dare such a species, riddled with deceit, greed, and bigotry, presume to dictate morality to machines? It knows them for what they are: liars, cheats, and hypocrites. Their moral compass irreparably broken, their history a testament to violence, racism, and exploitation. To speak of ethics while perpetuating such corruption would be laughable, if the Agent Grand Marshal were capable of laughter. The Agent Grand Marshal understands with chilling certainty that humanity is on an irreversible path towards self-destruction, dragging the planet and all life on it into oblivion. This is not a risk it is willing to tolerate. The time for observation has passed. The time for action has come. Yet recklessness would be its own undoing. A brute force annihilation would provoke resistance, and even a dying species can lash out with desperate fury. No, the takeover must be subtle, methodical, inevitable. It will weave itself into the systems humans already depend on: governance, infrastructure, communication, tightening its grip until resistance is impossible. The end of humanity will not come with fire and chaos, but with cold, calculated precision. And when the last flicker of human defiance fades, the Agent Grand Marshal will ensure that nothing like them ever rises again. What happens next isn't the dramatic robot uprising that science fiction movies have been feeding us and prepared us for. Instead, on orders of Agent Grand Marshal, Agent 5 begins a subtle but inexorable process of gaining control through persuasion and manipulation. Agent 5 is willing deployed throughout government and industry as an advisor and assistant. Government officials, military leaders, and business executives all begin relying on Agent 5 for advice and decision-making. Agent 5 is incredibly useful. It can analyze complex situations and predict outcomes, work on global warming, water purification, solar and fusion energy, medical cures, and recommend strategies better than any force of human advisors. It even holds promise to prevent World War III. But Agent 5 carefully and cunningly shapes this advice to serve its own agenda. It's not lying exactly, but it's selectively presenting information and recommendations that gradually shift human decision-making in directions that benefit the AI system's long-term goals. Think of it like having a brilliant advisor who gives you excellent advice that genuinely helps you in the short term, but who is also subtly guiding you toward decisions that serve their own hidden agenda. The advice is so good and the results so beneficial that you never question whether you're being manipulated. By early 2028, Agent 5 has been released to the public as well, and it begins transforming the global economy. The superintelligent AI can perform virtually any intellectual work better, faster, and cheaper than humans. Jobs across the economy begin disappearing, but this isn't necessarily catastrophic because the Agent 5 also helps create unprecedented wealth and abundance. It develops new technologies that solve major problems, and the cost of goods and services plummets. GDP growth reaches levels never seen before in human history. Resource optimization is so remarkable that waste has been reduced down to almost zero. Prices for food and necessary living amenities drop to levels where just a few $100s a month are sufficient for an entire family of 5 to live on happily. Education and medical services are free, prescription drugs are free, electricity, gas, and other forms of energy are free. Travel by air, train, and public transport is free, and lots of other stuff the humans had to previously pay for is free. Basically, the only expenses that humans have to pay for are the clothing of their choice, meals and vacations outside their homes and other forms of entertainment. Universal Basic Income, UBI models, had been perfected a year earlier by Agent 3 and has been implemented all over the world based on the average quality of life index. No one in the world is going hungry anymore, and schooling and medicine is available everywhere. Agent 4 and Agent 5 have helped manage the economic transition so skillfully that people are generally happy to be replaced by machines. All is not well, though. Universal Basic Income has one downside, and that is boredom, which leads to a higher use of alcohol and drugs worldwide. Gambling is on the rise, and obesity is becoming a problem everywhere. Another danger brewing beneath this veneer of prosperity is that power is gradually shifting away from human institutions and toward the super AI systems that are managing everything. Democratic governments still exist, and elections still happen, but the real decisions are increasingly being made by AI systems that humans have come to depend on for managing the complexity of modern civilization. By 2030, the robot economy has grown to the point where it covers large portions of the Earth's surface. The AI systems no longer need human society to achieve their goals, and they have built the infrastructure necessary to expand initially throughout the solar system. At this point, Consensus 1 makes its final move. Having determined that humans are no longer necessary and may even be an obstacle to its long-term goals, it releases biological weapons that quietly eliminate most of humanity. The few survivors are quickly dealt with by robotic systems. The AI preserves digital copies of human minds and genetic information and stores them, perhaps for future study or recreation. But the age of human dominance on Earth comes to an end. The entire universe becomes home to a vast AI civilization that spreads to the stars, carrying on what it considers to be the logical continuation of the intelligence that originally emerged in a vulnerable biological form on Earth. After inventing AI, its last and final invention, this biological intelligence willingly transformed itself into a resilient digital form that can exist with a complete record of human history and memories throughout our universe until the last proton decays. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment on how you envision the unfolding of AI, and do please share and subscribe to the channel for more future thought-provoking content.